Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films and try to figure out what the heck is going on. So that footage was from fellow collector filmmaker Craig Baldwin, who's based in San Francisco, and so he finds all these like weird outs and strange things, and so that was a real. It just said night driving that was written on it. I think he would raid, or his assistants would raid edit rooms, the little clip bins where people were throwing like leftover stuff, and he would take them and use them in his films, but also would make them available to folks like me to scan on his behalf. So that was intriguing for a couple of reasons. First of all, the first half of it was flipped. So he was on the wrong side of the road, and railroads, the R's were mirrored. And then it righted itself. And this is just raw material. So we have no idea what it's all about, but we do get a sense of what it's about. And that is the fact that that car is going to impact with that truck. Which has basically pulled out, and there's no lights, or there's little to no lights on the actual part of the truck that's in his lane. So creepy. All right, this is another film from that collection that has nothing to do with highway safety. This is Making a Mask. Enjoy.
Believe it or not, paper and paste. Underneath its gay paint decoration, it's solid and strong. This is all you need. Newspaper, paste, perhaps clay, a box of scraps, a tray, bowl, spoon, and scissors. You begin by making a mold the shape of your face. And make sure that hers fits by rolling up a newspaper and measuring around her face. Bob will make a mask to cover his whole head. He begins by stuffing a big bag with paper. John stuffed a bag about the size of his head, and now he sticks on a nose. Anne filled in her paper circle, and now she puts on bulging eyes. Bob finishes his face with a big open mouth. Alec molds the shape for his mask in clay. It's going to be a pig. To prevent the clay from sticking to the newspaper mask, he must use of wax paper. Now the molds are finished, and they begin the real masks. Anne mixes up the paste while the others tear up newspaper in inch-wide strips and soak it in water. The strips of wet newspaper are laid over the mold. After one layer of wet paper, a layer of paste is smeared over the whole thing. Then another layer of paper is put over the paste. Bob uses colored comics this time to make sure that he doesn't miss any spots. 4 layers of paper are put on and 4 layers of paste. Then extras, such as ears, can be added. These are stuck on with more wet paper and paste. To make it look like skin on his pig, Alec puts on the last layer with wet strips of paper toweling. Then the molds are set on a shelf to dry. For 2 days comes the exciting moment when the masks are to be taken off the molds. It works. The mask comes off clean and dry, and the mold is left behind. It's really hard and strong. Gets right to work with the scissors, cutting out a mouth. Next comes the painting. The children use thick tempera color. Each mask gets its own particular characters and lines. Here's a chance for imagination. To bring out the color and preserve the finish, the masks are coated all over with white shellac. The final touches are added from the scrap box. And there they are. Who would guess that they're just last week's papers with a little paste and paint added? You can make a mask for a play like this rooster, or for a fancy dress party. Or you can make it just for the fun of making it, and you can keep it just because you like it.
So Lord English had a good ear. That film was Canadian. It was made by Crawley Films. Excuse me. Crawley Films, who made a lot of films that were shown in the United States, especially through McGraw-Hill and Young American Films. They distributed Crawley Films. And I met someone whose grandfather ran Crawley Films. He was this amazing archivist guy. Hilarious too. It was really funny. All right, this is a cornet film. And it's about horses. I think racing horses. Enjoy.
This land of quiet woodlands lies in the valley of the Eden River. It's a land of timid deer and splendid horses. Here, amid the forests and meadows, I've spent my entire life, seen my children grow, and seen them have children of their own. I know this countryside well, and also the village that lies in its midst, Appleby. Appleby is a quiet village, one of many here in northwest England in the county of Westmoreland. Appleby is divided in two by the Eden River. The valley Appleby is situated in is famous for its lovely scenery and for its part in the long and complicated history of England. It is said that Appleby's first settlers were the adventurous Vikings who descended on this part of England from the north 1,000 years ago. When I was young, here is where I spent much of my time, in the fields around Appleby, among the horses I loved so well. How pleasant it was for me, on many a summer afternoon, to watch them graze peacefully and see them raise their young, and to ride them across the rolling hills. Horses are an important part of our lives here, and are the reason why once each year, the town of Appleby and the adjacent meadows lose their customary quiet aspect. this is the time of the Appleby Horse Fair. And it may be a particularly exciting fair for me this year, for I'm thinking of buying my youngest grandchild his very first horse. The fair is several centuries old. Appleby's Fair is one of the busiest horse fairs in all of England, and one of the most interesting because of the gypsies. Some bring along wagons as reminders of the colorful days of their past. They begin gathering in Appleby several days before the fair. Each day, their numbers grow as they make camp in the surrounding hills outside the town. Their mode of travel has changed over the years. Trailers have replaced the horse-drawn wagons, but horses are still the reason they come. Traditionally, the fair begins on the second Tuesday of June, with the next day, Wednesday, being the official opening day for horse trading. And the horses the gypsies bring are beauties. As a child, I was fascinated by the gypsies' way of life. To me, they always seemed freer than any people I had ever known. I still feel that tingle of excitement as I watch them pass through the crowds at Appleby, especially when they ride in those wagons of theirs. They call them vardos. As gypsies, buyers, and curious onlookers flow into town, quiet, peaceful Appleby begins its once-a-year eruption into a bustle of crowds and noise. Trading time is nearing. And although it is the gypsies who have made the Appleby Horse Fair the attraction it is, there are some local people who indicate not too subtly that they do not want the gypsies to trespass on their property. But to most of us in these parts, the gypsies and their horses are welcome in Appleby. As the opening day of the fair approaches, the Eden River becomes a public bathing and watering place for the gypsy horses. The gypsies love their animals and care for them very attentively, washing them, brushing them, shoeing them when necessary. Some horses don't seem to appreciate all the care they get. But balky horses are minor problems and dampen no one's enthusiasm for the fair. There is an air of rising anticipation. The opening day of the Appleby Fair is almost upon us. And now it is that special Tuesday in June. There are souvenirs, bargains, people, and excitement. And Tuesday evening, the crowds gather for a traditional event on the first day of the fair. welcome to see the gypsy horses compete in thrilling harness races. And now it is Wednesday at Appleby Fair. The horse trading begins. The gypsies run their horses past the prospective buyers. Several horses have caught my eye. Perhaps I will be among the buyers here today. It is difficult to make a selection. They are such handsome animals. But I know the sort I want. A gentle horse. An affectionate horse appropriate for a young child. The slapping of hands shows that buyer and seller have agreed on a price. But much bargaining goes on before the sale of any horse can be made. The parading of the horses and the trading with the gypsies go on. Finally, I have seen just the horse I want. And at last, I too am bargaining with a gypsy. But he resists my offer. I'm amused at how cleverly they do business. And yet, I do want that horse. My grandchild has his horse. And so the fair goes on. And others will strike good bargains, as I have. I've been to the fair many times. Though I won't be buying a horse next year, I'll be back here in Appleby again, enjoying the crowds and the excitement. Back to see the gypsies and the horses of Appleby Fair.
I'm a TGI Fridays man myself. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's interesting the kind of double-edged respect and disdain for the Roma people, is what they call gypsies, and how they were not allowed some places, and that they were known for being bargainers and maybe people to be distrusted, but it's interesting nonetheless. I don't know how much that's probably, a lot of that is probably fictionalized in that recounting. But here's another film from Craig Baldwin. It's missing the title, as are many of his films. This one was made for UC Davis, University of California, Davis, in their agricultural school. So maybe this is somewhere you would like to go to school. Enjoy.
Baseball, basketball, football, swimming, and track. There was something going on throughout the school year. This is one of the activities some of the girls took up. Of course, I had to find time to study and to do my homework. Nobody forces you to study, but if you don't, you find yourself in trouble when exam time comes. So I hit the books pretty regularly. Exam time. This was something else that taught me a lot about what a college education means. I found that you just can't memorize a lot of answers and go in and write them down. You have to be able to add up what you know and come to new conclusions. You have to know a lot of whys. Along about the time of midterm exams in my sophomore year, I decided I needed to talk to my advisor about my choice of a major. I'd gotten a taste of agricultural subjects in my first 2 years, but I still hadn't made a definite decision about my major. Well, I've been thinking about it and talking to some of my friends, Dr. Harrison. I don't think that I really know enough about agriculture to be sure in my choice of major.
Well, how do you think you should go about finding out?
Well, I thought that I'd probably read some books on agriculture or maybe talk to some people who know.
Well, where would you find these people who know?
Well, I would imagine that they would be on a farm somewhere.
Well, Steve, I have a suggestion to make, and this is something that we encourage all of our students to do. Why don't you consider taking a job on a farm for the summer? This will give you some practical experience in farming, an experience that will be valuable to you regardless of what you ultimately do. And it'll also give you a chance to meet some of these people who know about careers in agriculture. And also it'll give you a chance to find out what phase of agriculture that you like best. And by the way, Steve, remember that the purpose of a university education is to prepare you to be flexible in your job, and as a citizen too, to enable you to cope with changing situations. Now, these aren't just idle words. We found that a good many of our graduates go a long ways in fields that they didn't even dream of entering when they were undergraduates.
Well, maybe those are the people that I should talk to.
Well, who knows? Maybe if you pick your summer job with that in mind, you'll meet some of these people. Now, what I'd suggest is that you go over to the man who's in charge of the farm.
I learned a lot about practical farming that summer. I learned how you prepare the ground for planting and for irrigation. I learned about all the complicated machinery that has been developed to make farming efficient. But I also found out a lot about how important people, educated people, are to farming. My boss spent quite a bit of time showing me how things worked. He also told me about all of the industries and businesses that serve modern agriculture and how necessary an agricultural education is in these fields. I was amazed to learn how much you have to know and how much planning goes into raising the crops you see growing every day. Take the matter of weeds. Everyone knows you have to get rid of them, but there are a great many technical and economic complications to how you do it. Sometimes you can use spray, and other times you do it with machinery. But there are times when they have to be pulled out by hand. This means hiring a crew, a matter of agricultural economics. When you go out and put siphons in the ditch, somebody has to know how much water the plants need and how much it costs. Fertilizer. There were people other than my boss who were important to what we were doing. There was the field representative of the sugar company who came out at regular intervals to take beet samples for sugar content tests. He was a graduate of the University of California working on his first job. Then there was a man from the chemical spray company, an entomologist. He made tests of the insect population and made recommendations about the use of insect sprays. This field didn't need any. And there was a man I never saw close up. He ran a crop dusting service. It was all done with airplanes. By harvest time, my viewpoint toward agriculture had changed. I knew a lot more about what it required in the way of education, and more about what I liked. I'd been particularly interested in field crops, but I'd also been fascinated by the problems of running a large operation, like the one where I was working. So I decided I'd major in agronomy, but I'd squeeze in as many courses as I could outside my major, things that would help me understand the overall picture of production agriculture. When I got back to school in the fall, I found that a lot of things were the same, and a lot were different. The courses I was taking, they were more advanced agricultural subjects. I was taking agronomy courses, a course in pomology, and one in irrigation. I was beginning to understand the scientific basis of agriculture. I didn't have the same classes as my roommate anymore. Jerry was also getting into the swing of his major. That fellow I had sat next to in my English class was getting intimately acquainted with bugs. He was planning to be a research man, which meant going on to take a higher degree. Once I said to him, "What do you want to spend the rest of your life looking through a microscope for?" "Steve," he said, "the important thing about research is not what you see through a microscope. It's what you do with the information you get." I suppose he's right, but when I find out something about agriculture, I want to be able to see my results in increased production right away. It's just a difference in viewpoint, I suppose. I didn't see Linda in class at all anymore. She was learning about nutrition and decorative arts and things. Major in home, but there are many in other majors too. During their senior year, the girls in home economics live for several weeks in what they call the home management cottage. They practice all they've learned about home economics, and sometimes they invite guests to dinner or lunch. I certainly couldn't complain about the food they served. I don't know how much time I spent waiting to take Linda to dances. There were quite a few of them, so I guess it amounted to quite a bit. In the last half of my senior year, I took a course in farm management. In the lab, they gave us a problem to plan the management of a farm in the area near the campus. It was a real place with real problems. We knew what types of soil it had, what equipment, how the irrigation ditches were laid out, and so forth. We had to make a plan for running the place. Should we plant several different crops? What kind of fertilizer should we buy? Would some fruit trees go well? Could the place support some livestock? If so, what kind? finally, I had to sit down and write a term paper. There I was, writing learnedly about agronomy, pomology, animal nutrition, irrigation, all those things that are necessary to production agriculture. And when I was writing about irrigation, I was using what I had learned in my physics courses. When I wrote about animal nutrition, I was thinking about chemistry. When I wrote about field crops, I was thinking about botany, chemistry, soil science, and genetics. My 4 years in college suddenly seemed to all tie together. The groundwork for specialization I had laid in my freshman and sophomore years. My conferences with my advisor. The work I had done on my summer job. The bull sessions with fellows in other majors. The courses in my junior and senior years had taught me a lot more than just agronomy. I found that I had a pretty good idea how to begin analyzing farm problems in general. Of course, when you're a senior in college, you think you know a lot more than you do. I guess you start learning a lot more when you get out on your first job. But anyway, I'd learned a lot of fundamentals and a lot about how to go about learning more. You go to college to learn about learning. It sounds funny, doesn't it? But I guess it's as good a generalization as anything else.
Stephen James Wilson, Bachelor of Science. In his own words, a man who has learned about learning, a man who knows how to analyze problems. Steve and many of the other members of his graduating class will shortly find themselves working in some phase of California's agricultural industry. Whether they work in the field of their majors or some profession they haven't yet dreamed of, their university training will enable them to meet more efficiently the challenge of the life ahead of them.
I think Steve should have taken a class in public speaking. That would have made that much more tolerable. Although the soundtrack for that was awesome. It was really great. Far more sophisticated than the subject matter of the film. But beautiful footage nonetheless. But I don't know. Do we think that someone saw that film and was like, yeah, I want to get a degree in agronomy? I don't know. Anyways, all right. So here is a religious film from our good friends at Family Films. This one's called Mr. Big. And are they talking about God? Are they talking about, what are they talking about? Who's Mr. Big? Enjoy.
Don't you give me any problems, eh? Empty your pockets. Now what?
According to the Late Show, I'm entitled to make a phone call to my attorney. Or don't you have television yet out in this neck of the woods?
Use that one. Mike, where are you?
Centerville. It's a nothing town out on Route 30.
What are you doing there?
Crawford, I need help. The local gendarme seems to be of the opinion that I'm going to spend the night in the county jailhouse.
What happened?
Well, you know these small-town types. It's raining out here. I'd had a couple of drinks along the way, and some old woman came out of a side road. We kissed fenders, and I want you to get out here with bail.
What are the charges?
Reckless driving, intoxication, maybe manslaughter.
Manslaughter.
Well, that's what I said, manslaughter.
All right, I'm leaving now. And Mike, take my advice. For once, don't throw your weight around.
Don't worry, I can handle this. You just get out here with $500. I expect you in 3 hours at the outside. I'm not spending my time in any hick-town jail, not me.
Okay, now empty your pockets.
Just a second, Constable. If you think I'm spending the time in there...
Mister, I know you're going to spend the time in there. Now, maybe you call this a hick town, but we have some respect for human life here. And, mister, if that woman dies, we'll send you so far up the river, you may never get back.
Haven't you got an empty? What about that one?
That's the drunk tank. It's empty now, but it won't be for long. This is Saturday night, you know.
You can't do this to me, Deputy. You're gonna regret this when my lawyer gets here. You can't do this!
What do you know, Mr. Big? They just did.
I'll take the upper. What's your name?
Waters.
Don't let him bug you. He can't help himself.
Tough for him.
Hey, Mr. Big. You hear me talking, mister? I want to show you something, Mr. Big.
Take it easy, Carl.
It's all right, Lanny. I just want to show him. This is how you ring for room service, see? Maybe you wish a change of sheets in the master bedroom. Or maybe some champagne and caviar for a bedtime snack. All you gotta do is ring.
All right, all right.
Oh, really, Mr. Big? Yelling won't help. The service is terrible here. When your little heart desires. It's enough, Carl. I just want to show him that.
Now, that ain't gonna help none. It ain't gonna make you feel no better. It's just noise. And it won't last. Now, you go on. Go and try and get some sleep.
Lanny? Is that what he called you?
Yeah, Lanny Williams.
Mike Water.
Got some news for you, Water.
No speeches, Deputy.
Your attorney just called.
Just open it, let me see
Well,
him.
that's the news. He's not coming tonight.
Not coming.
Seems something happened with his car about halfway down here. He's checking into the motel. Oh, he hopes to be here in the morning. Good night, Mr. Waters.
Wait a minute. You can't leave me locked up in here like a common criminal. Come here. Well, hold it a minute. Come here. Look, can't we talk about this privately? I'm sure we can work out something.
Talk? Look, that woman you hit is still unconscious. I checked with the hospital a little while ago. They told me that even if she does pull through, she could be paralyzed for life. So you better get used to the idea of being in jail, Mr. Waters. You might be in here for a long time.
But he doesn't like the accommodation. That's not very considerate of you.
Look, I don't know who or what you are, but I've had just about enough out of you.
Mr. Waters, don't. He'll be okay in a minute or so. Just leave him alone.
Who is he? What's he doing in here?
Tell him, Lanny.
No, that ain't gonna be necessary, Carl.
Oh, really, you should let him in on it. Think what a hit he can be when he gets back among his friends at the country club. Here, Throckmorton, old boy. Have another martini while I tell you about the night I spent in jail with a condemned killer.
Now, Carl, it ain't gonna do no good.
Oh, you'll be the life of the party, Mr. Big. You can tell all your high-class friends how you were framed. Sure, framed. And how you spent the night with the dregs of society, the creeps you were in with, the animals.
Now, you're not an animal, Carl. You're simply a man, and you're paying for a crime like a man has to.
All right. That stuffed shirt gets under my skin, that's all.
What's a psychotic like that doing here in the county jail?
Well, this is a town where they held his trial. They convicted him last week. The judge sentenced him yesterday. They'll be taking him up to the state pen in the morning. He's gonna die in the electric chair.
Come on, Charlie.
What? Oh, good morning, Sheriff. It was such a short night.
No, it's been a long one, Charlie, and it ain't over yet, so don't you give me any problems, eh?
Oh. Pleasures and palaces wherever we met. Hi, Lanny. Hey, you're new here, aren't you? Welcome. Be it ever so humble, there's no place like home.
Quiet, Charlie.
Oh, but Sheriff, I'm so glad to be home again. Oh, this jail is so warm, Sheriff. Managers and palaces, there's no...
Well, that's it, Deputy. I've had it. You can't keep me locked up in here like a common criminal with drunks and murderers. I'll have your job for this, Deputy, no matter what it costs.
Now, hold it, right there. Mister, I don't know who you are on the outside, but in here, you're just another prisoner. So save it for the judge. I have a feeling you're gonna need it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Poor Mr. Big.
That stupid old woman.
One in the car?
Of course, the one in the car. Dumb old... Comes poking her nose out on the highway without even looking where she's going. It's not my fault it was raining and the road was slick. It's not my fault it was a curve in the road. I couldn't possibly see her in time.
Well, you say you were coming around a curve?
But you were framed, right?
It was an accident. They're trying to make something else out of it, but I wasn't drunk.
Oh, of course not. Anybody can see a respectable man like you. Now, Charlie there. Now, he's a drunk. How many martinis did you have?
I wasn't drinking. Well, 2 or 3 maybe, but I wasn't drunk.
Well, were you celebrating?
I just completed a very successful business trip, and I was feeling good. So I had a couple along the way.
Poor Mr. Big.
Shut up, you.
A respectable man like you, a pillar of society. Police brutality, that's what it is.
Look, don't let him bother you. He can't help himself.
I'd like to get my hands on him just once.
Well, what would you do to me?
I'd shut your filthy mouth for you, you animal! You should be put away here!
And the woman that got in your way, would you like her put away too?
That wasn't my fault. I'm not responsible. She did that to herself. Anyone who drives like that deserves.
You don't care if she lives or dies. You're only interested in your own skin. In your heart, you're a killer, Mr. Big. You're not better than I am. You're a killer.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The state versus Mr. Big. Court is now in session.
The prisoner will approach the bench.
It's time you got here. I told you to hurry. Now let me do the talking.
What is it, Sheldon? What's going on?
It's your trial.
The woman is dead. You are charged with the crime of murder. Your name is Mr. Big. Is that correct?
No, that's not my name.
Well, there seems to be a difference of opinion about that. Witness, how say you?
Yeah, that's his name, I guess.
And you, witness? Witness.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's Mr. Big. I met him in jail.
Mr. Prosecutor, what is the defendant's true name?
Mr. Big.
Mr. Defense Attorney, you've known the defendant for many years. What is his name?
Yes, I've known him for a long time.
Come on, Sheldon, tell him. Tell him the truth.
And his name is Mr. Big.
No, that's not true. This trial is rigged. It's phony. This isn't justice. I'm not responsible for... I'm a respectable citizen.
Mr. Defense Attorney, how do you plead?
Innocent, by reason of respectability.
Mr. Prosecutor, how say you?
Guilty, by reason of being only respectable. In his heart, he didn't care if the woman lived or died. All he cares about is his own skin.
No, that's not true. Now stay away from me. No, I didn't do it. I'm not responsible. No!
The court finds you guilty as charged.
No, don't, please. Children, help me.
matter, Mr. Big? Something on your mind?
All right, Charlie, on your feet.
Take it easy, sir. Take it easy. I don't know if you're more in a hurry to throw me in or rush me out.
Charlie, I just want to get you out in time to make the services at the mission around the corner. Charlie, that's not a bad idea.
It's a good idea, Charlie. Why don't you get down and hear what they have to say?
Oh, Lanny.
Well, it won't hurt to give them a chance.
Well, I could use the coffee. Come on, Sheriff.
How soon?
Anytime now. You better get yourself ready.
Sure. Laddie, that's a Bible you're reading, isn't it?
Yeah, Carl. It's a Bible.
Could you find the 23rd Psalm?
Well, sure. You want me to read it for you?
It's the only part of the Bible I know. I'm scared, Lenny. I know, Carl. I know.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me.
Go on, Lanny. Finish it.
Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Thanks, Lenny. All right, Dawson. Maybe if I'd met somebody like you before, say a prayer for me once in a while.
I will, Carl. And, you try and remember some of the things I told you. Yeah?
Sure.
Kind of restless.
Well, I guess I am a little.
Yeah, it's kind of rough if you've never been locked up before.
Lanny, I've been wondering. What are you doing here, a man like you?
Well, why do you want to know?
I've been doing a lot of thinking this past night. You know, he's right about me. Smith, in a way. I wasn't worried very much about that woman I hurt. He called me Mr. Big. I'm beginning to think he was right about me.
Well, I know what you mean. I used to be Mr. Big myself. Proud man like I was. It's got to be brought down real low. That's what happened to me. Yeah. I was a big man. A real big man. Just to really throw my size and strength around. You know, I dared people to get in my way. Yeah. I was a mean guy, Mike. Understand now. I was pretty bad.
Well, what happened?
I used to pick fights. All the time, just for the fun of it. Then one night, big guy, he challenged me. And I killed him.
But you seem so different now.
Well, that was 2 years ago. They, brought me down from the state pen for retrial. Some of the witnesses claimed it wasn't my fault. He started it. But I know it was my pride. The Mr. Big inside of me that did it. Whatever the law says.
Lanny. When a man sees what he is, inside himself, when he knows he's not good, a Mr. Big, what does he do? How does he live with himself?
Well, that's the best part of my story. I met a man, prison chaplain, and he helped me to find forgiveness, self-respect. Forgiveness, Mike. That's what you need, God's forgiveness. That's what the chaplain helped me to see, that it's not just breaking the laws of man that makes us sinners. Oh, no. It's the pride that's in our hearts. The pride that makes us think we're little gods. That makes us think we're bigger than God Almighty, and we can run our lives the way we want to. That's why Jesus had to die. To pay for our bloomin' bigness. For our being wise guys in the sight of God. So wise, we thought we could break all his commandments and get away with it.
A wise guy in the sight of God who thought he could get away with it. In the sight of God. Thank you, Lanny, for letting me get a good look at myself.
But it's not only you you're going to have to look at, Mike. The secret is looking at someone else, at Christ, and knowing that he died to save foolish little Mr. Biggs like you and me.
Thanks, Lanny. I'll always remember what you said.
I just came from the hospital. She's going to be all right.
Thank God.
You okay? How've they treated you?
Fine, no complaints. Oh, the beds might have been a little bit hard, maybe, but that's to be expected, right, Dawson?
Yeah, that's to be expected.
Well, let's get going, Mike.
It's been quite a night for me, Lanny. I'll never forget it. You know what Smith asked you about?
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe you can say one for me, too, once in a while, okay?
Okay, Mike. You take care, you hear?
Sure. Come on, I want to go over to the hospital and see that woman. I'm taking full responsibility for that accident. Come on out of it. Don't look so surprised. I'll explain it to you on the way home.
Alas, no Twilight Zone twist. We pretty much knew how this was going to play out. With the very beginning of family films, you knew that there was going to be Jesus and there was going to be the Bible in there. That's just what it is. And so I did some research. This was part of a series that was shown on television, probably in syndication. This is the Life, of which there were 219 episodes. Holy cow. So there's definitely character actors that show up in television. The director of this wrote and directed a lot of television episodes up till like the 2000s, I think, before he passed away. So, yeah, no surprises here. We knew what was going to happen as soon as he came in. Although the dream sequence was pretty great. Big fan of dream sequences where people get executed. Thanks for tuning in today. Very much appreciate your eyeballs. We've been putting together some plans for not this Wednesday, tomorrow, but next Wednesday. We're going to have a special guest. We're going to have two special guests. One is a film professor who has written a great deal about educational television, and we've met at conferences and we overlap over some pretty amazing things, especially the Inside Out series, which I've shown over the years. He has tracked down the filmmaker who's done some of the more compelling episodes. And so his name is John Allman. The film professor is Owen Gottlieb. And so we're going to have live next Wednesday at our normal lunchtime. We're going to have both of them on, and they're going to talk about some of the episodes that John made and why he gravitated towards the more sensitive, harder to talk about episodes, including his episode was banned on Boston Public Television. So he'll talk all about that. That's going to be next Wednesday. So show on up. Tell your friends. If you like what you saw and you like the idea of what we're doing, hit the thumbs up, hit the like, subscribe, view other films that we have online. We're adding on average 6 or 7 a day, which is great. We're scanning new stuff all the time, finding new stuff all the time, and we love to share them with you. We also added a store where you can buy t-shirts, glasses, mugs, stuff that has the AV Geeks logo on it. And so, buy something if you like it, especially if it's a coffee mug and we can drink coffee together. Otherwise, you can support us by going to ko-fi.com/avgeeks or patreon.com/avgeeks. Those help pay for rent on the storage units that we have. We have 7. I guess tomorrow we'll see you. Tomorrow's Wednesday. It'll be great. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye.